What's going on, good people? It is the Bad Wolf. Once again, we are here to tell you more truth. And this is 6.0 in the beginner's guide. So, for all those people who have been wanting to know what's going on in the world, um, if you want my unbiased truth, well, we'll say personal experience and the truth of what I have gone through from my perspective. These are just facts. That information is on Bad Wolf Unrestricted, my other YouTube channel. So go and check that one out. If you want videos on how to live in the private that are paid and some are free through the holidays, check out jamesclovett.com. If you want general information on how to do a consult or certain files, free forms, things of that nature, benefits of the system that can help you on your daily basis, then go to blacksite32.com. Everything on those sites are fire ass information and materials. Guarantee you that. Nobody that goes there says, oh, there's nothing I can use here. It's all whatever. Unless you're one of the trolls in my audience. If you're a troll, if you're a troll, you're generally what? Doing okay. You're getting paid from the system. Um, you work for the system, and you generally don't care about the average person. So I'm going to go on a tiny rant before we get into 6.0. All right, but don't worry, stay around for it. So I try to read a good number of the comments, things out there. One of the things that popped up today is a lady out there, or a female. I don't want to insult ladies in case she's not. Um, but this particular person decided to be like, oh, you nasty language you had about your baby mama, la la la. Well, here's the problem. When you have taken care of somebody, brought them out of a basement, they had a raggedy car, you helped them to learn how to become a manager and then a multi-store manager. You put food in their bellies, money in their pockets for her cripple mom and non-English speaking father, and then she cheats on you while you're taking care of your son with the manager at the job you helped her to get, gave her family a place to stay. Yeah, she's trash. I'm sorry. I'll call out another dude too. If a dude is trash, then he's an adult sized boy and he's trash. I don't know why, especially females, are out here on some Shira pussy power, like she's got a vagina, so she's good. No, that is delusional. If you're that delusional, don't be on my channel. You're gonna find all these things here hard to swallow. It's not gonna, nope, not today, Satan. So you're then find another channel to be on. All right, because here we're about the truth. And she is trash for what she did. And she has run off. And I'm still fighting her. And it took 2 years, 3 years to find them on the run. I haven't seen my kid in that amount of time. So you've shown me that you're delusional. You're willing to try to jump on the bandwagon of a female you don't know because she's a female, because she has a vagina like you. That's stupid. I don't back guys out there who are adult sized boys that you probably dated and now think all men are bad. No, because you've never had a real man. You've never had a healthy relationship. Facts. Let's get back to it. So, all right. Once again, how did all of this transpire? Now, I'm not going to go down through all the other videos right now and do a complete 6.0 breakdown of all of the things. Here's what you need to know, but I highly suggest you go back and watch video number 1, 2, 3, 4.0, 5, and now this one, 6. Let's get into it. Sorry if I'm a little too real for you guys. I don't have time for BS or male or female mental health delusion. I'm not buying into that. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. You're not going to disrespect me. I'll block, delete you, and whatever else, or you can just go somewhere else. Like, no, I'm not giving in to the darkness of this world. You're not gonna taint me, okay, with mental health issues and delusion. Everybody wants a little 2 seconds of fame. Well, there, I gave her probably more than 2 seconds of fame, but I didn't give the person's name, so I'm not even giving you that. But the scenario seems to be pretty rampant out there. A lot of people are feral and they think that they're healthy. They think that they're good. They want to get a they're trolling. So we need to address that. Trolling is bullshit. It's for kids. And if you think like that, you're not a grown woman. You're an adult size girl. There, I've said it. All right. So the short version of it is this. When you were born, they gave you citizenship, but you were also had nationality, and those are two separate things. Under 8 FAM 301.1-1, letter B, nationality versus citizenship. The government, not me, government. It's a GPO style manual, government publishing office, their book, legal style manual. Look it up. You had that. Now, what does that really mean? It means that you were given citizenship. What is citizenship? It is a public membership. Well, technically, it's a private membership, but it's so big it's called the public. So you joined the public. You joined a class under the 14th Amendment of people out there, legal persons, actors, masks, vessels. They operate in maritime admiralty jurisdictions, most of which is under the UCC, but not all of it. It's a political bubble or hemisphere. Oh, and to the guy out there who said, "Oh, don't be so sure of yourself." So you guys want to take little pot shots? Don't be so full of yourself. I've actually been pretty humble. You should see my Badwolf Unrestricted if you want to see me a little bit more, you know, jazzy. But sharing information and letting people make their own choice. So you're either an agent or an ex of mine or an ex of hers, or you're just emotionally unbalanced and disturbed. Stay in your little holes, trolls, okay? That's all I can say. You get one shot to get your brain, your mind right when you're addressing somebody who's only trying to do the right thing. I don't have time for it. I'm not going to entertain it. And that's also one of the reasons why I kept the comments off. Because that's how it started off the channel. People yap, 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 yap on some BS. And usually these people are miserable. The people who leave the shitty comments on my YouTube channels are against me. Either you're an ex of mine, ex of hers, or you are somebody who hasn't had anything good. You're making money and sitting back and hoping that your little regime never topples. You don't want the people to learn, or you've got mental health delusion or some kind of um, cross wiring of all of that. And it's sad. So I wish you, those particular individuals, I hope you go through everything you need to go through in life to become a better person. Okay? I'm not gonna go tit for tat. I'm not gonna exchange accept your negative energy and then try to give it back. Not what I'm here for. May whatever God you believe in have mercy on your soul. All right? But you're also not going to stop the message of light and of care and helping people to wake up. If this is not your cup of tea, then go worship whatever dog, demon, deity that you do somewhere else. Why be here? You clearly see the light and education that I'm bringing to people, but you don't want the American people to know that? Says more about you than me. All right. So we now know that we have nationality as a birthright, citizenship as a man-made lesser variant of rights. We know that it generally starts with the law there because it's there for us to use. We know that the hospital then provides, and the thing too is that none of these people say these things have any substance to back up what they're saying. They're just throwing rocks at passing cars like little kids. None of them will say, "Well, look, here's the correct code. You're not right." So you're trying to use emotion but no substantial information, facts, codes, or merits behind it. You know who does that? Kids. So let's get back to it for the adults. All right. So hospital, we now know the trick with the birth certificate and versus the heirloom record of birth, live birth document, certificate of live birth. And then we jump into it deeper when we check off that we are U.S. citizens. We're then operating in that mode with our being, our legal person, our living being the surety, technically, for the non living person. We also then know that when we register to vote, we're contracting in. We don't know how to fill out our taxes properly, so we're contracting again and to be a fee paying member. We also know that when we then register our property, goods, and then our kids, we're doing the same thing to them. So a lot of people have asked me, they said, well, how do we avoid doing that, to our kids and whatever else? Well, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not saying that you still shouldn't take part in the system. That's up to you to decide. But if you don't want to, that's your choice. But understand that at some point in time, you're leading your offspring down a path that uh, unless you raise them to know all of this, is going to be very difficult in the future because they're going to want to drive, and that's fine. They're going to want to go to school with their friends, and that's fine. So it's almost like you might as well bring them in the system, but teach them what the truth is because they're going to want those benefits and privileges. That's what they do. But if you truly don't want them a part of it that way, you're either going to have to, it's going to be really hard. If you don't want them to have the social, which there's nothing wrong with the social, the strong man, there's nothing wrong with it. You just need to know what it is and how to use it and when to use it. And if that's not what you want to do, then you get an EIN and then create a separate entity with a different name, and then that person operates as that entity. So now we're going to go through a list of some of the top things that I have in my repertoire of videos, packages, services, things that you can use, not use. Now, please key into this, good people. There is nothing here that you have to do to be private. You already have it in you. You just need to develop it or use it or not. That's up to you. Next, nobody else's videos do you have to do what they're saying to be free or private. You can stay completely on the public side. This is just about letting you know that there are different jurisdictions you can operate in. If you choose to do something, that's on you. And whether it's me or somebody else, do your own research. One lady also in the comments was like, "Well, what should I do? What can I do? How do I get this done?" Or la la la. How do I know who's good and bad and a scammer and this and that when listening to all these people? And I said, well, the first thing you want to do is listen to their information, see how they carry themselves, take the information, write it down, and go and research it with ChatGPT or the books or the library or a trained professional or a legal whatever or a constitutional lawyer. Whatever it is, research it for yourself. Words are just words, okay? You have to make it substantial. You have to make it solid. You have to make it your world if it makes sense and you validate it. You vet the information for yourself. Then you have to be willing to stand on it and fight for it because that's what the American way is fighting for your rights. So I'm going to go through a list of things that you can do. You can do one of them or none of them. You can do all of them, most of them, some of them. It's totally up to you. But none of these things make you free. You already are when you know what's going on. It's up to you to decide which one of these things, if any, do you want to do in your life. And to be private, you don't have to do all these things to be private. You can do literally like, oh, I just want to be tax exempt at work, and then you do that. I mean, that's all. The rest of your life is public. That's fine, completely fine. You can use one or the other here, there, all day long, different things. You just can't be both in the same exact event. You can be one or the other all day long, or one day all of them, the next day none of them, whatever it is. Okay? But you can't be in front of a judge and say that you are a national and expect to get off, and then you hand them your driver's license. And I'm not saying as a national you can just say that and then hand them a passport and get off. That's not how it works. You have to know. This is a language, and you have to learn how to speak this language. You've never used these muscles before. Like Neo said in The Matrix, why do my eyes hurt? You've never used them. It's the same thing. All right. So I'm going to go through some of the processes. Now, a lot of people have always given me some shite because they're like, well, what are all the things I can do or need to do to be um, a national? You already are. Look up Cornell Law EDU 8 U.S.C. 1401 or 8 U.S.C. 1101 A 22 A and B. I primarily go with B. You already have it. You literally already have it. So, once again, like I said, I'm not like other people. I'm not going to go tit for tat with people, but I will address certain things depending on that they need to be said. Some people think that like they're right because they feel some type of way. Your feelings, Constitution doesn't protect your feelings. So I'm okay with hurting people's feelings. And like I said, not giving in to people's demands or delusions or disrespect or whatever else. People with no YouTube channel, no videos on here, which are probably bots or agents of the government. You know, like most of the people who have negative things to say when I go and look up their channels, not one video. New subscriber or new user, not even a subscriber of mine, just it's just like, come on, I'm not simple. That screams agent or mental delusional person all day. Nothing better to do than to bother other people. Like if I seen some people like I don't know worshiping Allah or Thor or whatever it is, I'm not gonna go and sit in their group and be like, "No, you stupid." I'm just gonna be like, hey, that's their thing. I'm out. I'm over here, and that shows maturity. That'd be like me listening to some guy. Oh, all women are bad and this and that. Like, no, they're not. That's a child's mentality to even think that. Or all black people, do this, and all white, all of no, it's not how it works. But once again, it shows your maturity level. So when people don't even start off their conversations with dignity, respect, and a balanced playing field, I water off of a duck's back at that point in time. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it between you and me and my little list here so that we can get you guys up to par. Now, let's see, what do I have here? Uh, all right, rescinding the um, voter registration. Optional. Going and finding where you initially started and put in your vote, your ability to vote, or going online and finding the official one for all the states or your county or states and rescinding it. If you rescind it, it means you can't vote, especially not in the for the president. The local stuff you can still do, but you don't have to rescind. Doesn't make, I mean, it does make you a little bit more private, but at the same time, it's a benefit. So use it if you want it, or don't use it and just let it sit and whatever else. And yeah, we're not going to get into like the voter fraud and whatever else, blah, 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 more. Um, but if you wanted to, you can do that, but you do not have to. All right. Let's see here. If you want to vote, sign up to vote. If you feel strongly about it and you want to put your effort towards trying to get the right person in office or whatever it is you believe in, do it. You don't have to avoid that just because somebody said, "Oh, you're a U.S. citizen, registered voter. You can't be a national." That's trash. It's garbage. Like I said, like these trolls in my comment sections. Trash. Each and every one of them. But the other 99% of people, that's why I keep the comment sections now open on certain videos. But now you see why I had them closed because it's more about the work than people trying to detract from it. They want to feel seen and feel special. They want to try to tear down anything that doesn't, it's not conducive to their lifestyle or their emotional beliefs. I believe each one of those type of people should really go and kiss a train, but I'm not going to go and promote that. I don't promote self-harm, but I have the right to feel that way. But that's where it stops. It's just a feeling. And other than now, I normally wouldn't even go around talking about or sharing it. So once again, like on my TikTok channel, I keep it real, keep it open. So even though I gave this more time than I wanted to, all right, I just wanted you guys to know, don't feel pressured and bullied by trolls and whatever else who just want to try to ruin your day. They're not worth it. You know, they're miserable people, so let them be miserable. Smile and keep going. So that's the only reason why I gave it some time today is because I want you guys to hear the back part of it, is to not let people throw you off yours. It's not worth it. All right. So, house taxes. Do you have to do a get your house property tax exempt? No, but if you do want to, I do have videos here for free on this channel, and I do have the in-depth versions on jamesclovett.com. But once again, your house is, if it's registered to them, it's taxable. If it's registered to them, they can come on your property. You've given them permission. So that's up to you if you want to change that or deal with it or not. That's up to you. You don't have to. You can still have your, whatever you got going on. You can still be a private person. Me, I've got private signs on mine. Multiple cops, city have driven by, looked at them, and there's all this, that. They go away because they know I'm right. Now, when my house was still generally registered to them underneath my all caps name, even though I have the right to put the signs up, technically I'm still registered to them. So I'm more so private, but not fully at that point in time. All right. So personal taxes or taxes at your work. Do you have to do that? Once again, that is a personal revocation of election, usually done with a W-8BEN. I've made videos on that. If that doesn't work, I've had other videos on how to claim it other proper ways, but differently. Um, it is good to send them the revocation of election. However, they generally don't want them. What they want you to do is if you know what to do and how to do it, you just do it. Okay? So don't think you have to do it to be private. It's if you choose and you're not a public official and you don't work directly for the government, then you have the option to not to then be tax exempt because you were born as a Native American under GPL Style Manual Section 5.23 as a native of the several states, the organic, which is tax exempt, to be tax exempt. Your name and social can go either way. However, the name, once it's tainted, they will always use that against you because it's the registering, hallmark of the legal person. So you would need a private name not recorded or registered with them, um, or a separate entity that's also not registered to them to then use to be private. This is what wealthy people do when they create their tax exempt irrevocable trusts, um, and various other things that they do to keep their money untaxed. All right. Now remember, there are some events that are taxable unless you take precautions, but there are some things that are absolutely taxable. All right. So research what you're doing before just doing something. All right. Dealing with the state. Should you send the state your affidavits and letting them know I'm private? I highly recommend you send it to, yeah, the state, your governor, your mayor, your alderman, chief of police, the sheriff. I mean, those are all the places, any places where you have interactions with people like that. But do they want them? No, they do not want them. They hate them. And then it makes the people who open them have to question things. And then they, oh, no, those are just those crazy sovereign citizens. Don't listen to any of them. There's no such thing as that. Well, one, they're wrong because there is a public and a private side. And they're very much private when they get to their homes, but when they're at work, they can't talk about it. There's no law that says they have to talk about it. So They have to maintain the ruse. So just like the trolls, they have to try to fight for their illogical mental health disorders. They have to fight for it. That's all that they've known. These are mentally feral people that they have to try to perpetuate. Why do you think when you watch these videos, you see these overbearing, egotistical males out here? Oh, you need to give your woman your entire paycheck and let her cheat on you. Or females, oh, you need to sleep with 100 guys to be a real woman. So that's all trash. And to answer that real quick, which I usually do on Badwolf Unrestricted or on my YouTube or my TikTok channel, um, do whatever you want to do. If you want to be a simp and give her all your money and let her do whatever she wants to do, fine. To me, you're not really a real man because a real man would take care of her, but he doesn't have to let her walk all over him. And females, if you want to sleep with 100 guys or 1,000, that's up to you. But generally, not all, quality men do not need a woman to be experienced by a whole bunch of losers who are going to mess up your pH and give you a kid, probably an STD, mess up your ability to bond. A good guy doesn't need that nor want that. But it's your life. So that if you want to do any of that stuff, do all that and more. As long as you're not hurting anybody, I personally don't care. I only try to show people that here's the best way, and I'm not an angel myself. All right. So I can't tell you to do as I say and just do as I do because I'm not perfect. But I'll say this: I went through all that bad stuff to learn the best way. And in one way, I'm glad I went through it and did all that stuff to learn to then give people better advice. But at the same time, yeah, it kind of sucks because, I've lost out on some really good opportunities because of some of the stuff that I did. And for the love of God, to those trolls out there, all I'm gonna say is this, like, look, y'all might think just because you see me as a YouTube personality that I'm like this guy who's trying to be perfect or that I don't do street shit. Oh, you best believe. Yeah. And when I tell you guys that I know people who get things done, oh, yeah, those are not lies. I'm not like other YouTube channels where I need to lie or hide that stuff. So talk tough all you want, internet gangsters. That's cool. All right. Everybody wants to be, a thug and a gangster until a real one walks through. But anyway, this is about knowledge and educating the people. So hang around if that's what you want. If you want the truth, raw, gritty, and if you're a piece of shit, well, you're welcome to stay and keep your mouth shut. But if not, then hey, go back under the bridge that you came from, or the greasy, slimy, crusty rock that you call home. Okay. Okay. Bye. All right. So the passport. Oh, and by the way, to those people who don't like some of my commentaries or whatever else, this is my channel. If you don't like it, there's thousands of others. So other people who love it, I appreciate you guys for listening, supporting, and all that good jazz. So, passport, passport, passport. I fully recommend getting the passport because it is the closest thing, if not the true thing, to getting a document as a national. When you do your passport the correct way, like in the videos, you are declaring to them that you are a national. And from the Department of State, that when done properly is in fact your national identification, meaning it proves that you are in fact a national. You're not going to see almost anything on there, if anything at all. And they're not going to talk about it. It's if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. I know some clubs, bars, and businesses where if you go to the back door and knock on them, because I used to be VIP at all these places back in my more wild days, you get to get in free and you get the line skip and you get a whole bunch of other benefits and whatever else. So if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. But they're never going to necessarily show you a whole bunch of proof. You have to read through their website and see what they're saying. But the average person is not going to do that. People before me did a lot of this stuff, and I'm only adding to their work. People like Colonel Von Wilson of Copper Moonshine Stills. All right. Rob Ryder, The Lighthouse. What are some of the other ones? I mean, truth be told, also like U.S.C. Um, I don't necessarily agree with some of how he does things, but he's out there doing the hard work. Um, there's other people out there that have been doing this a lot longer than me. But here's the thing: if people don't get into the game and pick up where the older people, what is this, McDonald, another guy out there, um, if we don't learn this, then we're bound to lose it. But hey, if everybody doesn't learn this, which the governments in the states primarily, the states are really the problem, not so much the government. But if we don't learn this, the states are going to continue to run in their full power and glory and keep abusing people through corporations and their games of making you a member of theirs under the 14th Amendment. And that's fine. It's business. I'm not here to stop their business, only to let you know that you have choices, educationally speaking. But yeah, I would recommend getting a passport. But do you have to? Nope, not at all. All right, trusts. The two main trusts that you're going to be dealing with if you want to do things, revocable and irrevocable. Irrevocable essentially means tax exempt, cannot be changed, private, all that good jazz. So most of your trusts really should be that. The other one generally is a revocable one. Revocable means living, generally does mean taxable. It is in the public, and you can change it at any point in time. So I actually have both, depending on what you want to do. All right. So figure out what you want taxable in public and what things you want tax exempt in private. But once again, do you have to do all those things? No, you don't have to change a damn thing in your life. I'm just trying to tell you the rules to the game, some of the pieces, so you have a little bit more than you did yesterday. That's it. You should be grown, and um, but that doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Doesn't mean you know it all. It means that you're learning and growing. And if your intent out there is to use any of this information or hurt people in general, you've got a problem. If you wake up and then you want to really attack anybody for anything, attack, not give proper good counsel. Hey, maybe you should do a little bit better in life, or that's going to affect you later on in life. If you get up and you decide you like to hurt people, then you're the problem. And that's really sad. It's really sad that that's how you live your day. I don't live my day like that. The only people I've ever hurt on mental, physical, social, mental, whatever else were people that deserved it. And if I ever did do that unintentionally to somebody, then I'm grown enough as a man to say I apologize. I was probably in a bad phase of my life, but that was also when I was in my 20s. It's 20 years ago. We need to grow up. Like I'm in my late 40s, and I was at a bar with my lady, and this girl from like 20 years ago or 15 years ago was like, "Oh, he's a bad guy, and he does all of these things, and he smashes all the girls, and my girl was like, yeah, that was like 20 years ago. He told me all those stories." She goes, "I personally have been around him for like 10 years now, and I haven't seen any of that. So sorry, bad people, negative people. We're not going to come swimming with you. No, we're good. Healthy people grow up. So even if you do mess up, even if you were a simp, or even if you did sleep with too many people and it ruined you, or whatever it is, as long as you grow up from that. But if you're over 20 something and you're in my comment section or other people's comment section or in real life hurting people, heal yourself first or stay under the bridge that you guard, troll, because that's really sad. I feel sad for you. And it's adorable. So it's adorable. All right. The IRS revocation letter. Once again, they don't really want your letter, but you can send that in, and that slides into the Form 56. What is the Form 56 everybody's talking about? So the Form 56 is where you are telling the system, IRS and whoever else, that you are the fiduciary over the straw man, which is your name in all capitalized letters, which is a legal person, which is a business, and you're telling them that you have the hold on one second. Um, you have the financial responsibility of saying what the straw man will or will not do. And you're kind of, I'm not going to say that they can't, you're kind of telling them that you have enough power that they can't just do what they want to do. But at the same time, if it's the true law, the government, they can basically say, yeah, no, we're doing this no matter what. You're still playing in our backyard with our stuff. But the states, on the other hand, have limited power. Even as you have given, or I shouldn't say given up, even as you've waived in each event a lot of your power by registering yourself and certain things to them, they're under the notion that you understand all of the rules and you are their willing participant in their membership. But the government says, yeah, that's true unless you're taking away their constitutional rights, private rights, common law rights, and they bitch about it. Then the states need to back the hell off. And if the states or even the government says about themselves, do not let you exercise that right, then you go after them financially. We're not here to be bullies, belligerents, combatants, or do anything treasonous to the United States. We are not here to do any of that. Okay? So never operate as a belligerent, combatant, etc. Now, the power of attorney, the POA. What is the power of attorney? Power of attorney is a legal. Oh, let me back up. So the Form 56 is not needed, but it makes a legal statement in their world. You already have that ability. You just don't know how to talk the talk. So if you don't know how to talk the talk and you want something to stand on, because remember, they respect the pen, which is mightier than the sword, and the paper. So having it for the average person is a good thing to have in place. For me, I don't need it. I know exactly what to quote and where to hit them. Now, basically, that's going to be almost the exact same as the power of attorney. Do you need it? Having a power of attorney done over yourself, over somebody else, or whatever else, you are saying, I have the full rights to sign and operate on behalf of this person or whatever it is. Once somebody signs a power of attorney over to you, and you can do one temporarily or you can make it limited, whatever, it's all in how you write it up, but make sure you write it up carefully um, because you give somebody like one of these trolls power of attorney, they literally are you. Anything you can sign, say, and do, they can sign, say, and do. They are you legally. So be careful with the power of attorney. But when some of us start to get a little too old and the faculty start going, you might want to find somebody who you can get your who can be your power of attorney and put all of your stuff into. I mean, I would even wait, even for just for legal asset protection, put it in your various entities, trusts, or nation, or whatever else to protect it from everybody and everything, really. Lawsuits, whatever. All right. Affidavits. Once again, affidavits are good because you are compiling a document, getting it notarized generally, and you're essentially stating to everybody, this is who I am, this is how I operate, this is what I do. Like I sent mine out to all the various heads of state, police, sheriffs, all that stuff. Generally, generally they just kind of throw them away. They kind of some of them will read them, and if you address it to their legal department, which you don't really have to do, they'll take a look and say, okay, yeah, we get it, and they'll toss it. Some of them may make a note in your permanent file with them. Oh, this person's a sovereign citizen, or this person is a private citizen. Some will, some won't. It's a gamble. All right. I have received certain letters back from certain departments where they said, Dear Mr. Lovett, we are in reception of your materials. We don't have jurisdiction over you. Now, that's a huge and very powerful letter. Very rare to get. I've also then used that privately in certain court scenarios to let the courts, especially on the lower level, know that you don't have jurisdiction over me. If your boss says he doesn't have it, you definitely don't have it. All right. As long as you don't do any controversy, criminal activities, deny somebody of their rights and freedoms, you're good. Because that's what you're saying when you say that you're a national. I can handle myself. I'm good. I'm not like one of these trolls who's a belligerent and combatant. I'm not trying to cause controversy. People cause controversy, make them money, and they get locked up or jailed or this or that or fined. In the old days, worse. Ah, gotta miss the old days. So, do you need affidavits? No, but they are good to have ready to go if you, in the future, which is what we do here, is we pre-plan so that if we are bothered in the future, we're ready to go. You don't have to sit there and go, oh man, I need to, what am I going to do? No, you have all your paperwork ready. You have your file ready to print. Print, stamp, sign, go. Bye, boom. All right, so the next one. Should you create your own government like I have? You don't need to. I use mine as a public interface for tax exempt things. I created my own tax exempt government on the private side, and it operates just like anything else, like a straw man or a business or whatever else. They're basically the same thing, just when you set yours up correctly, it can be tax exempt. And what I like about a government over a trust is that trusts generally tap out after 70 years. So they exhaust or they collapse. All right. The assets get removed or whatever. With a government, um, it can run forever, just like the regular states and the government, as long as you have people in place to take it over. So, and you get to then decide like, if you want to do like holidays or what currencies you'll take and won't, you're creating your own government. You're setting up a whole system. All right. So, should you create a micronation? You remember, your last name is not a last name unless you're allowing it to be used and construed as a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. It's a servant name. Your last name is actually a nation and a tribe because you come from all of the same people, the same name. That's a nation. That's a tribe. It's a house. It's an empire. Whatever you want to call it, that's what it is. So that operates similar to your own government. You can run it the same way. You can make it a completely private thing. You can make it a public thing. You can make it just that it's tax exempt, taxable. Um, you can make it more that it's private, but it interfaces with the public so that you don't have to use your social or whatever else. Or you run some things through your social and some things through your micronation. Is it needed? No, it's up to you. If you like how it sounds, then you create that. All right, the FBO, the 508c1A. All right, for those people who watched my free video on James C. Lovett on the FBO, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, jamesclovett.com, I believe that video is still free to watch. And there's one or two other ones on there, limited time. Make haste, go check that out after the video. Um, the FBO is a faith-based organization. Now, it differs from a normal church, whereas a church is a 501c3. You're still basically on the left side of their jurisdiction. It's tax exempt, but they have control on what you cannot say, open, close. Um, but you get the benefit of being tax exempt. A 508c1A, you are tax exempt, but you can say whatever you want to say. You can do whatever you want to do. You can be open, you can be closed, but you're generally considered to be private. Whereas the 501, you're generally considered to be public. And though you can, how should I say this carefully? Um, you can cater yourself as a 501c3 to certain types of people, persons, religions, faiths, whatever else. 508, because you're completely private, you can do whatever you want. You can be like only green Martians with red hair and baby oil can come in here because you're completely private. But your windows, doors, and signs must also reflect that by saying this is for private citizens. Okay? You have to have that so that people know what they're getting into. It also then tells the city or any inspector you're not here to be inspected. You're not here to be bothered. And as long as you're not hurting anybody there or doing anything illegal, you're good. What you want to do? Okay. People have asked about an unincorporated association. Unincorporated just means non-state, non-federal. You don't owe either of them taxes. The government allows for that because that's your right as a national and a Native American. State citizen. You have the right to do your things completely without their business. You don't have to contract with them. That's all of it is. If they don't see, they can't own you because if they owned you, that would be slavery. And if they own you or try to own you or make you do something without compensating you, that's peonage. Also a federal offense. So an unincorporated association says I'm either me or there's a group of us and we want to operate without your oversight. Once again, it's just a structure. Generally, that's tax exempt. That's why sometimes you go through this through small towns and it says unincorporated county or township or whatever else it is. They don't want the state or the government's money. We don't need any of those benefits. When you accept the benefits, you're saying, I'm I have a disability. I need your help. And so they kind of slide you into their jurisdiction. They've got a little bit of control over you. If you accept the free cheese, they're going to take it that you're a rat and put you in the maze. It's up to you. It's not a horrible thing because some people do need it, like the people with mental health issues out there and worse. All right. So, do you need a new business or a new EIN instead of using your social? Once again, up to you. Totally up to you. I would recommend having at least one because then you have another line to build credit. If your personal credit's a little challenged, well, then you can fall back on your business. And you should learn about business and business credit, internet. I also have videos on jamesclovett.com. But yeah, I would suggest you create some type of entity and start building credit on it. And there's numerous ways to do that. All right. But it also can be used if, say, some parent, or I shouldn't say parents, but biological mothers and fathers do not want their offspring to have a social, which, as much as I don't like the social, I would say that it is a tool that for retirement, if somebody is not capable of um, saving their own money and protecting themselves from themselves, then it can be used, and there are other benefits that come along with that. Okay. Next up, should you renounce your 14th Amendment U.S. citizenship? The problem with renouncing is that you can then become stateless. See, when you look at the document, I want to say it's DS 4079, but don't quote me. Um, if you go in front of a judge, pay the $1,500, and then you swear out, you have to understand that if you do that, you're no longer entitled to certain benefits and privileges of the United States corporation. And if you're stateless and you get into police trouble or law enforcement issues or whatever else, you don't have the Constitution or the state or any of that, and you're just a ship on the open ocean by yourself. So if you don't have things already set up from another place or for yourself, that's bad. Now, understand that if you do decide to renounce, and I don't recommend to do it, it's a trap, so don't do it. Um, well, how should I say? Um, when you go to renounce, if you look at the forms carefully, it says nationality on there. But I said you had two things, citizenship and nationality. So nationality, if you look at the government's documents, and they're the superior in law, they're lawful over the states. The states are inferior. The states and the state courts are inferior to the United States government, and the government itself is inferior to we the people. So if you renounce and you look at the document and it says nationality, you're getting rid of your nationality. And that means that your kids from you on then forward are not entitled to anything American. Period. Period. They're coming in cold, and you can't run back here for help. So why would you want to get rid of a benefit and privilege like that? And a right as a national. So they tie your nationality to your U.S. citizenship. So if you get rid of nationality, it takes down your citizenship. Some people have gone as far as to specifically draw up their own document to say that they don't want their 14th Amendment U.S. citizenship. I'm not going to say that that's bad or horrible. I'm saying it's a way, it's a tactic. It has certain interesting properties that come with doing that. But once again, that can have a ripple effect on other things because if you then try to go around masquerading as the 14th Amendment U.S. citizen, which how what your bank accounts are tied to it, certain other things might be tied to it, you could lose those as well. So, but do you need it? Do you have to have it? No. But should you get rid of it, especially now that you have it? No. Why would you get rid of a tool? It may not be a great tool, but it's a decent one, maybe devil made. But once again, like Spawn, having devil powers, depending on how you use them, ain't such a bad thing. That's up to you to decide. I'm just giving you the pieces that you don't know and that you need to know, and now you know. All right, authenticating. We've come a long way since being the godfather of the authentication process when so many people out there ridiculed me, talk shit about me, don't know what I'm doing. It's not a real thing. Now all of a sudden everybody knows that it is. Oh, imagine that. See, a lot of times when you're the first at something or you're good at something, people are going to throw rocks. Like, once again, some of the people in the comments section. And that's cute. I don't lose sleep over that. The first 2 years, 3 years of me doing this YouTube channel and being called a devil and this and that and anti whatever and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I cared then. And then I slowly stopped caring about all of that. I still care for people, but my skin grew a lot thicker. And that's what I tell people. If you're going to do this or you're going to be out in the public, you're going to take the time out of your life away from your family and friends and whatever else to do this, which is what I do. And don't get me wrong, there's also the money factor. I do make decent money, but I also don't charge and try to, do other things like other people where it's construed as a rip-off. I mean, I've dealt with multimillionaires who are like, yeah, your prices are you could be a lot higher. I've got students now who charge double and triple what I charge. Some of them might even be making a little bit more money than me. It's whatever. So, and I digress. Do you have to authenticate? You do not have to authenticate any of your documents unless your goal is to get a passport as a national. And the document specifically is the birth certificate issued from the state of your state name here. All of the other ones do not have to be authenticated. Long time ago, I did say that I would still do the certificate of live birth if it was a certified copy. You don't have to do that. Does it hurt? No. Is it a waste of time? Why? If it's a true certified copy of the original, it has the same power as the original, but they put it on their portrait paper, and it's like having the devil create a new document of freedom that was issued to you by God. But even the devil is saying, yeah, 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 we're just going to put it on our fiery paper, but all the information is there. It's as good as your original. Well, I still don't really want yours, so that's why I said you could authenticate it, and I did mine. But do you have to do that? No. If it's a true certified copy, you do not have to do it. You do not have to do the hospital certificate of live birth. You do not have to do the heirloom, the souvenir, or any of those. Matter of fact, even if you create your own and have it witnessed and notarized and all that good jazz, that is authentication. Authentication means it's in the correct jurisdiction, which is the natural. That is authentication. A normal document created by you in the private is already authenticated. But the United States corporation is slowly evolving into, well, it already is Hague for paperwork purposes, but it still mostly operates for the benefit of the American people as the trustee for such. So it is not fully corrupt, but there are some tainted brown spots on the apple, so to speak. So if it's authenticated, like the GPL style manual has on the bottom of it says authenticated, it's in the correct American jurisdiction. If it doesn't say that, you don't know what jurisdiction, but it's probably the Hague Convention, which is not intrinsically American. So you only need to do the state of birth certificate, and that's only if you want to do the passport that particular way. Otherwise, just do it normally, and you'll get what you get. Um, Authenticating that particular document makes the document puts that document into the correct jurisdiction. The Department of State's already validated that information for us, so we know it's a fact. Um, Depending on how you know to use that document in regards to the straw man, authenticating it gives you more power, educationally speaking, as is all my information, videos and videos and files alike. All right, the SS5 process, once again, something else that we pioneered a long time ago. Do you need to do that? Do you need to do that? The SS5 or the SS, what, 5F people do for the foreign version, because you and your natural standing are in fact foreign to the states and the corporate entities. Do you need to do that? Do you need to get your affidavit together and take the page from the GPL style manual, section 5.323, and your affidavit, put all together? No, because you now know how to use it properly. But if you want to, you can. Will you have some pushback with this or certain other processes? Yeah, some are going to push back. Some know what it is. Some of those people have done it themselves and like, yeah, good job, way to go. But do you need to run across the whole gamut spectrum doing all of these things I mentioned and then some and then other people's stuff out there? No. Now I'm giving you the things that people have done and have not gotten into actual trouble for. People may have been pushed back or denied some of these things, but we then go above them to their bosses or around them and get them done. Some people's processes out there, and I know this for a fact, I won't mention names, but their people have come to me because either their processes got people jailed or into financial trouble. Some of those people themselves have been jailed over what they're teaching. And a lot of the stuff that they're teaching are just for likes and clicks so they can make the YouTube money. Let's just be honest. And for the love of God, people understand this. YouTube pays 25% less, or maybe it's just me, I don't know. Um, but and it also is based on how many people watch the ads and whatever else. So being on YouTube doesn't just automatically mean you're making a lot of money. I've got decent numbers, but I'm if I were to try to retire on what I get, like I could be okay, but like You ain't getting a whole lot of extras. All right. So everybody's cutting corners and cutting back. All right. So the name change. Should you change your name? That's up to you. But when you change your name, they're generally going to give you a document. And then here's my problem with it is you're asking permission from the courts, the lower courts, to change your name. I don't think I should have to do that as a grown ass man who's competent and age of majority. Sorry. I don't think I should go to another man to ask permission for shit. And if you do, then they're going to have a record of your new name. So depending on what your goal is, they're going to have your new name anyway. I more see it as you create your own private name, your own private IDs, but those are not going to work in public corporate things like banks and installations and whatever else. It's just for you. If you're out walking down the street, not doing anything criminal, you're right to travel or whatever else, have your own private ID. If you want to make it even more legitimate, actually go get an EIN for the entity and then have your entity issue an ID for you. That's what they do. There's no law against making IDs. But your ID is not a recognized one for their membership. And if you're not committing a crime or anything like that, your ID is solid. Commit a crime, and well, they're probably going to try to ignore your ID and find you in the system because you've done something criminal, and that waives your right to being private. If you haven't, then you're good. Some people ask me, should they remove their mailbox? Well, that is something I've toyed with, and at this point in time, I have everything online. So I would like to get rid of it, but I still do dabble, especially because of my piece of shit son's mother, who does not operate like a mother, but a single crazy mental health delusional female, an adult-sized girl. I still have to deal with a lot of court issues, and then I have a ton of other processes going on, so I can't just get rid of my mailbox. Now, this brings me into my second thing, the PO box. I do have one. I send most things through that. Do the courts like PO boxes? Not at all, because PO boxes, educationally speaking, are essentially American based. That is the post office, not the United States Postal Service. Those are two separate things. So that's why a lot of things say no PO boxes because they want you and your physical address with the zip code so that they know that this is legally considered an intercommunication between corporate or state franchises because that box is theirs. It's a franchise. It's a what do they call them? A cubicle mail box, even though you're far from somebody else, but they're providing you their service. So if you can get away from having a mailbox, yeah, rescind it, close it, tell them to come and get it, and get nothing dropped off at your house. Also, kind of hard to serve somebody if they don't have a mailbox or a PO box, educationally speaking. I'm not saying to do it for those reasons. These are just things people have told me. So, but if you do get court stuff, you should definitely take it. Don't run and hide because they'll just try to issue you a default judgment, and that's always bad. So, that's what I got to keep in mind. But I also have a separate mailbox on my house for mail that goes to my entity. Now, you don't have to do all that. You can just use your same address and put behind the address, like Suite 1 or Box 2 or whatever else, or for your private entity if you choose. You don't even have to do that. Um, should you edit? Speaking of the mail stuff, there are forms, and don't quote me. I think it's like a 4332 for the mail form. Don't quote me, but you can go there. Now there's a master form where you can indicate, update the postal service, USPS, who all lives at your house. There's a master one. There's one if you just change who lives there, that's one thing. But there's a master form that they don't like to talk about where you can say who actually lives here so that mail for other people does not come there. You're getting mail from other people that don't live at your house? Yeah, there's a reason for that. because you've never indicated and updated that none of these people live here anymore. I don't want any of their mail. Which brings me to my next thing. If you don't want that mail and you haven't updated the master list for that, you can put on there refused, return to sender, and they will take the mail. After you write that on there, put it back in your mailbox, they will take it and it'll be gone. Generally, they just destroy it because, once again, you should update the master list. They don't like to do that because if you don't write that on there, they can get fired or in trouble for that. And they don't accept reject it. It has to be say refuse and return to sender. And then on there, you should also put sender, remove from mailing list. That's how you do that. Um, Somewhat lastly, if not last, the social security number. Should you get it, I'd say it has more benefits and is worthwhile, though I don't care for it or that system, than not. It can be used if you know what you're doing as taxable, which is making a election to be taxed, or if you know how to use it properly, it can be used as tax exempt. But once again, don't just do something you don't know how to do. Research it, watch the videos that I or certain other people have. Vet the information for yourself. We take no responsibility, especially I don't. If you know what you're doing, you're good. If you don't do it right, and this is why when people don't do things the right way or they shortcut these things that people who are very trained and skilled in it who live this life for over 40 years have battled them and their legal and frivolous departments and won across the board, then those are the people who they then call sovereign citizens because you don't know what you're doing. You're not solid enough with your information. If you do part of it right and then half of it wrong, you're all wrong. That's why they call those people sovereign citizens. But we also know that sovereign citizens do not, that word has no legal standing. They can't prosecute you as that. And it's actually defamation of character, and they can be sued for that. They process you as a U.S. citizen, 14th Amendment, because that's what you're operating. You're essentially you're not controlling yourself. You're doing things that are wrong, illegal, and fraudulent. You don't know, you're not doing it right. I'm not even saying just listen to me. Go talk to a CPA or a private, attorney or whatever else you need to get, do your own reading. But I'll tell you this, you do major things. The stuff I'm talking about here, these are pieces. There's bigger things you can build with these things. You can use it for good or bad. I don't recommend the bad though. And I'll tell you this, as somebody who knows people who've had this happen, you start trying to do bigger things and build these things into these crazy schemes, or even if you're doing something right and you don't do it the right way, you will get a knock on the door. You will be met by two agents. I know agents out there who know my name firsthand. The government doesn't mind you doing almost anything that you have a lawful right to do, but they want you to do it right. But generally, unless you know who to ask, and I don't know who to ask in there, how do I do this? And depending on what you're asking, it may be a security issue. But generally, everything else, they're supposed to tell you if you ask and you ask the right person. Generally, they're going to tell you to sign a non-disclosure agreement or to, for national security reasons, keep this underneath your hat. So depending on what you do, you can be successful with things, or they're going to come and knock on your door and they're going to either give you the go ahead or the, yeah, we're going to need to talk to you privately. So don't do stupid shit. Don't do things above your pay grade. Be careful. If someone's telling you to do something and it's way too good to be true, or they're asking for lots of money, you don't know this person's last name, where they're located, you can't see their face, you don't use their real name, those are all bad signs, people. As somebody who's been ripped off by people trying to learn this stuff over all these years, hasn't happened in years, but still yet, be careful and cautious. Do your own research. Like the one lady was asking me, listen to the person, hear what they're saying. If they're not giving you codes that you can verify a good chunk of information for yourself, ChatGPT is not going to always give you the right answers. It was built by the people who want to suppress your rights and freedoms and liberties. It'll give you everything on the public side. It knows almost nothing about the private. But if you do want to force it to look in the right places, better than what it's doing, like 85% better than what it's doing, then go to blacksite32.com or jamesclovett.com and get my AI chat GPT script that you can copy and paste into yours or whatever AI you're using. Should work with almost every one of them. And it will make it run because it will then know which books, how to cross reference, what to do. It will analyze things and give you options that you can then choose from. Other than that, there is no official book on the private. There isn't. You're supposed to just learn and know these things, figure it out. So many parents are out there letting their kids just grow up and they're not being raised. You know what that equates to? An adult sized boy or an adult sized girl physically looks like a man, physically looks like a woman, but that doesn't denote that their medulla oblongata is balanced and has good logic and reasoning. A lot of males are not generally taught how to be a real man, though they're male. A lot of females not taught how to be a woman, they're a female. I am a grown ass woman. I am a grown ass man. But physically, yes. Mentally, no. A lot of people are hurt and damaged, mental health issues. And those are the people who end up leaving comments that are shit in my YouTube comment section. You want to know one thing I haven't grown out because I'm like 50 cents? Being petty. Petty enough to talk about them, not petty enough to put their name out there. So, trying to think if there are any other forms or processes. I mean, those are not all of them, but those are a majority of the ones that I talk about, I use to make my life better in many different ways. Oh, another one. The UCC. I almost forgot about that one. The UCC stands for the Uniform Commercial Code. Do you need to do that? No. Do I recommend it? Yes. What is it? What is it and what does it really do? So the state of Maryland, the state of Arizona, which is different than Maryland State, Maryland Republic, Maryland the Organic, same thing all across the board. They operate under the UCC. And the UCC, though it is legitimately based in America, has roots from European oppressive countries and monarchies, and itself is not American intrinsically. It's in the American family, it's not truly American. And yet, it's also international because some people, educationally speaking, have tied it back to a company called Unidroit, and Unidroit is owned by the Vatican, educationally speaking. That being the case, the UCC is an international claim in the commercial maritime jurisdiction, which means everywhere that does businesses on the corporate level are supposed to respect it. Does the UCC come down and fight your claim? No. Is the district attorney, attorney general, and certain key agencies, are they supposed to back it up and support you with your claim? Yes. Generally, they only do that if you do it through court. and you summon or subpoena them to be there to do so. However, is there power behind a UCC? Yes. I've used it firsthand numerous times. I won't tell you what for all, unless you go and watch the videos on jameslovett.com. But it's very powerful, more than you overstand. Some places will deny it and say, "Oh, there's nothing there," whatever else. But, and I'll give you this tidbit, they hate it when you sign a traffic ticket, UCC 1-308. Some people say, "Well, why should you use that if it's theirs and if it's part of the corporate thing that you're always against?" I believe you should use some of their stuff in the appropriate times. And why? Why should we use that at the appropriate times? Because that is a remedy. You're not admitting to being their property. You're using a remedy to say, "Hey, I'm not your property, but I know enough of your stuff to say, if I say this to you, you'll understand that I'm not your property." Kind of like using the different colored inks. Black generally denotes the death, dead, and debtor of a corporate non living entity, dead man's blood. Blue ink represents the water, which is maritime, and that you're doing business with them, but you're not a dead entity and you're not underneath their jurisdiction, but you do business with them. So using blue is a remedy to not claim to be a dead thing. Speaking of blue and black, um, for those people who know, so the UCC, when you do it properly, puts a international commercial claim, a lien against all of your properties or your strong man or whatever you have, thereby putting that entity, which is the lien is being placed, whoever's placing the lien against the entity is in first lien position. They have first rights to the property, which means nobody else can touch, take any of your stuff without paying that lien off first. So if your house is worth 500,000, you put a $1 million lien against it, and they want to take your house, well, they got to pay out that $1 million lien. I'll let you use your imagination for the rest of it. So for the low price of whatever the state charges for a lien, it's kind of a great uptick to have a large commercial, recognized, legal asset protection vehicle in place. Use it how you see fit, but remember, don't do anything illegal because we don't condone that here. All right, guys, that is 6.0 of the beginner's guide. For the most part, that is it. So unless I think of something else that I need to further, you guys are basically caught up. These 6 videos get you from I know nothing to I now know there's a game going on. I now know what I am. I now know that my name in all capitalized letters on the state level and lower is a legal person, but on the government level is actually me because the government is operating and bound to the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights, whereas the states are bound, but they're doing their own membership. And in their membership, this customary usage of all capitalized lettering is capitis dimutio maxima, which is Latin for a capitalization of the names equals a maximum loss of rights, name, and freedoms. You became a member. It's also in the UCC book under UCC 1-201 definitions under conspicuous format, which means it's a commercial entity. It's no different than a business name. You go and get a business right now, it comes in all caps, looks exactly the same. So guess what? That's what they're doing. It's business. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed these tutorials, beginner's guide, information. As always, do your own research. Look up these codes. Look up these books. Get the books. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to find very few people out there, and definitely no government agency on the state or federal level, that are going to educate you here because they don't have an obligation to. Most of them don't even understand this because they're public entities, not private. They have generally no control over anything private unless you register it to them. The moment that you operate as a private or public person in any kind of criminal way, denying somebody of their rights, hurting people, criminal damage, etc., you have waived your right, especially as a private person, to stay a private person until that matter is dealt with. And then they decide if they should give you back your rights and freedoms. If you're a public 14th Amendment U.S. citizen and you do those things, it's business as usual. You're a member of theirs, and they're going to go even harder on you. But off the record, what's funny, I've seen multiple times police, sheriffs, um, county financial people, advisors doing illegal stuff and getting promoted because the devils who hide in plain sight, some of which may be trolls, are trolls, whatever else. People like to just trigger people. They're in places of power, unfortunately. No matter what group, church, fraternity, organization, there's bad people everywhere. They like to promote their own kind, especially when they're dirty. So you, the American people, have to report them to multiple levels to shine the light on these devils, demons, and dogs. Or you'll find that if you hang out with the devil, you're not going to change the devil, but you will find that the devil will slowly change you. So change yourself for the better. Do what's right, even if it's the hard thing to do. Otherwise, it may just catch up to you one day. And when enough good people stand up to any person, persons, municipalities, agencies, etc., that's when real change happens. I'll talk to you guys later. Oh, yeah. Hit that bell and like on the way out. Appreciate you.